Winemakers Table. It is the last Pick and Pay Winemakers Table of the year, but very special indeed. My name is Jonathan, and I am going to teach you a little bit more about food, a little bit more about wine pairing, and I'm here with Righard from Grendel. So Grendel, obviously very nice and local, not too far away from the city centre, and not too far away from the Atlantic Ocean. We're going to learn all about how that affects the wines. We're going to taste three incredible wines, including a bubbly, Sauvignon Blanc, and a Merlot. And we're also going to teach you guys how to create three little beautiful canapes that you'll be able to use and at any of your Christmas parties and things that are going to be happening around the summer months as well. All right, so I just want to thank everybody, obviously Pick and Pay Wine Club, for putting on these lovely events. And also Pick and Pay Online, who have delivered all of those boxes to your house in the reusable, recyclable picnic bags. Within those boxes, you'll find 3 different boxes with all of the ingredients to create your canapes, as well as obviously the 3 wines that hopefully you've put at least the bubbly and the Sauvignon Blanc on ice. And maybe if you're into chilling your red wine a little bit, it is very, very hot. I know it is hot here in Cape Town. I'm pretty sure up in Joburg it's also really, really hot, as well as Durban. So yeah, welcome, Righard. It's lovely to have you here. As I said to Righard before, it's a special wine for myself as well. 10 years ago, we got married and we chose that rosé as our wedding wine. It's honestly one of my absolute favorites. There have been quite a few different changes maybe in the wine, which we can chat about as well. But very, very excited to hear a little bit more about the Grendel.
Thank you to you. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you to Pick and Pay for the opportunity. Great to be here. I didn't know it was the last one, so quite
well, the last one of the year.
Of this year, exactly. 2024. So this one is nearing to the end. So lovely to be here, and thanks for joining in. The Grendel and its history can take forever to tell you more about it. I'm going to try and wrap it up, and I think we need to get to the more important things, food and the actual drinking of the wines. So the Grendel, dating back to 1720, that's the oldest title deed registered with the name de Grendel. The owners, the current owners, 4th generation Baronet Sir David Graaf is the current owner. His great-grandfather, Sir David, bought the property in 1891.
Oh, wow, okay.
And that was to relocate his Arab horses back then stabled out in sort of the Kirstenbosch area, which of course is known for a higher rainfall. Yeah. And the Arab horse don't enjoy a high rainfall, so off he ventured and to try and find some drier ground for these animals, and came across the Grendel and made that the family seat.
Okay, interesting.
But as a winemaking history, quite recent. It was also always, the Graaf family's always been in politics and farming.
Okay.
So I think farming was the big love for them. And it was the 3rd Baronet, Sir David Graaf, that planted the first vines in 2000. Okay. And that's where it all started. Yeah. And 04 was our first harvest, then delivered to Graham Beck in Franschhoek, where our cellar master, Charles Hopkins, I don't know, he's been on this program before. Yes. So Charles made the wine for the Graaf family as a winemaking service back then. Got you. So 04 and 05 was made at Graham Beck. 05 was when I joined the family to try and sell the stuff that was made. Well, I think you've been doing a pretty good job, huh? Well, it was an interesting and a lovely experience to be part of this brand from the word go. Yeah, I think that's the nice thing about it as well. And we were chatting earlier on as well. So Charles obviously has been the winemaker right from the beginning. You've been involved right from the beginning. And I think that you were even saying that Charles was actually involved in actually designing the cellar and really making it his own. Yes, that was Sir David's idea. He said to Charles, "You design the cellar. I don't want you to make any excuses afterwards that you couldn't make a decent wine because you didn't have certain equipment." So that was the whole idea. Let's say the public side of the cellar was opened later on. So got you. Yeah, well, I mean, I've obviously been down to the farm, and you should do so too as well. It's got an incredible restaurant with the most magnificent views as well. So yeah, I'm not sure if you've been to the farm, and if you can see the view from that banner, that is the absolute iconic view of Table Mountain, Cape Town. And that was sort of the first thing that struck me when I got to the farm the first time. for my interview back in the day, and it was the fact that you leave a busy city, and then you have a 2-kilometer drive up, and you get out of your car, and it's tranquil. It's farmland. And
it really is incredible.
It's a working farm as well.
Yeah. Well, you are producing some amazing wines, not only some amazing wines, but also some incredible MCC as well. This Cap Classique that you guys have brought out, you got 2. I think it's the Rosé and the Brut.
Correct.
All right. Well, I think that everyone is chomping at the bit really to get going and really to obviously to taste that wine as well and taste that bubbly. I think we really should.
Let's crack it.
I think let's crack it open. Same thing, you guys. Also, I think you would have probably chilled, put it onto an ice bucket. Also, one thing I did want to make sure that you guys are doing, please do keep your cameras on. We love seeing exactly what's going on inside your kitchens. I can see people bustling around there, grabbing the bottles from out of the fridge or on ice. Obviously, bubbly, it is something that is becoming extremely popular. And the sales, and from what I've heard, is like the wine sales of Cap Classique in South Africa are soaring. And also just the popularity of Cap Classique, Champagne, MCC, whatever it is, really increasing, which is fantastic. It's a really good sign that people, number one, are loving the category, but number two, are celebrating at home as well. I think that it's kind of maybe moved away from people going to restaurants and thinking that's the only place that they can really drink a bubbles, but really it's become very much an everyday drinking occasion.
But honestly, don't wait for an excuse.
Don't wait for an excuse, no.
Make sure to always have a chilled bottle of bubbly in your fridge, and because you just never know.
You never know. All right, well, there we go. So this is the Rosé, and what cultivar is used in this?
So this is called the Grendel Proposal Hill.
Okay.
Brut Rosé, 100% Pinot Noir.
100% Pinot Noir. And I think one of the interesting things that we're also going to experience tonight as well is the wines that we are tasting are all 100% varietals.
100% varietals and 100% from the property.
Okay, interesting.
So these are all wine of origin Cape Town. And
this is delicious. It really is.
I needed this sip. Cheers.
Absolutely. Cheers. So there we go, guys. You can see really it's got that beautiful light salmon color. That obviously it probably spends a little bit of time on the.
Well, there's a 30-month lease contract.
Okay.
But as for those who, I just want to make 100% sure everybody are familiar with the fact that I'm not the winemaker. I do the sales and marketing, the eating, drinking, talking part of this job.
What a great job.
Yeah, it's got its benefits and negative parts. But so for me, I always when I have a glass of wine in the hand, I always think food.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing that comes to mind. And how can I enjoy this? The Pinot Noir does make it quite a versatile, so it's got a bit of richness to it. So you can even lean into if you don't want to go seafood, you can go into meats, your gamey, duck, and those lighter red meats as well. Quite versatile. As I say, it's got beautiful long lease contact, adding that richness to the wine.
Yeah.
Those beautiful berry notes coming through. Very fine bubble.
I think that's something that I picked up as well. It really is a very, very fine bubble. And we actually got a question, the first question of this evening, and please do keep these questions coming. We love to interact with you as well and answer as many questions as you can. Any questions to us? There's a very interesting question that's popped up here. Is there a special reason why we're using a shorter, flatter glass rather than longer, tall, thin champagne flute? Look, I have my opinions. And if you'd like me to air my opinions, I can.
Please do.
I way prefer drinking bubbly out of a glass like this. Yeah. I really do. And the reason why is because I feel that when you're drinking champagne or bubbly out of a long, thinner flute, there's a concentration that kind of goes straight into the middle of your tongue. And when you're drinking out of a wider glass, you kind of, when you pour it into your mouth, it spreads over your whole entire tongue, killing the left and the right. And I think that when you come to something like this with a Pinot Noir, something that's spent, as you said, 30 months on the lease, it becomes developed, it becomes rounder. And I think that it's almost better to drink a rounder, more full-bodied, characteristic wine out of a bigger glass so it ends up on your whole entire tongue. And also the fact is that normally with a small champagne flute, when you stick it to your nose to drink, you get a massive whack of CO2, which doesn't really help anybody.
And it doesn't work with my nose in any case. So good point. I think there is a sort of movement away from flutes.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, just the other day, I had a comment where my Brut, which is a Chardonnay Pinot Noir,
Yes.
was in a lineup.
Yes.
And they experimented with different glasses.
Interesting.
And funny enough, that one showed best in a flute.
Really?
So it's all about experimenting as well.
Yeah, 100%.
And when you're at home and you do have a flute and you have this shaped glass, pour it in both and see how it changes.
Yeah.
I think that for me is always the thing about wine, and especially about wine and food pairings as well.
Yes.
Be adventurous, risk, play. It's not meant to be.
No, exactly. No, you hit the nail on the head. And I think that's really what the Pick and Pay Wine Club is all about. It's about getting people to try new wines in different settings, with different food, with different people, and really kind of broaden their knowledge and experience a whole wider range of food. So, yeah, I mean, I think that takes really where we're going onto is we're going to now create something that is experimental. And things that, it's a great experience that we have, trying to just change things up and do a few different quite, experimental canapes to see if it'll work with the wine. But we have tasted it, we have trialed it, and we believe this is great.
Well, at least you have had that opportunity. I so often get asked to do pairings just from paper.
Yeah, no, it's
sometimes it's sometimes the smallest little element that throws a wine completely. So
completely.
I look forward.
Okay, all right, guys. Cameras on. I want to see you guys in your kitchen. We've got a few little bits and pieces. The first canapé that we're going to do, we've got a really nice little mature cheddar little cracker. We've got some whipped feta cheese. We've got some beetroot. We've got some crispy capers. And we've also got a really nice berry coulis. Okay, so while you're doing this, we want interaction and we want photos. We want photos to see what you guys are doing, but use different hashtags, PNP Wine Club, so the hashtag PNP Wine Club, as well as the hashtag de Grendel.
That's great.
And so if you do use those hashtags and you post onto social media, you stand a chance of winning 300 Rands worth of Smart Shopper points. You can also ask some really great questions and you'll stand a chance to do that as well. But please use those hashtags. We love to see what's going on at your home. Okay, we're going to start cooking, guys. All right, very, very simple. We've made these crackers, and all these crackers it's a simple, what we call basically like a little water biscuit, a 1, 2, 3 biscuit. We've used some really great cheddar cheese. You can use any brand of cheddar cheese. The ones that we normally buy from Pick and Pay, which I love the range of cheddar cheeses is a Klein River. They've got some really nice Gruberg, they've got some Stanford, they've got some Havarti. Try them all, they're actually excellent. Very, very good. All right, so we've just made this little cracker using some nice mature cheddar. It gives it a little bit of a kind of bit of tartness. And then you'll find a little packet of some pickled beetroot. And that pickled beetroot is basically some beetroot that we have cut and we've basically cooked in a little bit of sugar, a little bit of vinegar, and we've basically pickled it, which also preserves it. So you can basically do that for a long time in advance, and you can keep it. So these little blockies are basically the beetroot, and then we've got our whipped feta, and that whipped feta is literally feta cheese that we've added a little bit of cream to just to make it a little bit thinner, and that's going to be a little bit of a drizzle, and then we've got some berry coulis and some crispy capers. Okay, so it's all about combining flavors, it's all about building these flavors as well. So take your little board and place your little cracker onto it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a little teaspoon and I'm going to place all the way around. I'm just going to place some of this beetroot onto it. You've got a few little blocks there. You can do a couple, as many as you want. 5, 6, doesn't really matter. There we go. There we go. And that's just going to add a little bit of I toppled over it. There we go. It's going to add a little bit of sweetness. It's also going to add a little bit of tartness as well. All right, now you've got your little piping bag of your whipped feta. Make a very small snip of the end, basically, on the top, and that's going to be a nice little drizzle over. If you want to do some little dollops in the middle, you can. So I'll do that. Or you can do a little drizzle. I'll do a few dollops. and that just gives it some nice creaminess. So when you do these pairings, you always look at acidity levels, you look at kind of mouthfeel, you want things to sometimes cut acidity, you want sometimes creaminess. So it's nice to kind of balance one opposite without the other. All right.
True.
Then we will start, I think what we'll do is we'll use this berry coulis. And that berry coulis, we've done it a couple times before, but it is always changes with the berries that you use or you can get. As I said, Pick and Pay have a very nice range of frozen berries, or you can use some fresh berries if they are in season. And all you do is you cook that down with a little bit of sugar, a little bit of lemon juice, and you give it a little bit of a blitz at the end. Simple. All right, so that same thing. Now you've got some nice contrast in color, and that gel and coulis is going to pipe onto it there as well.
And it probably picks up on the beautiful berry notes that's in the wine as well.
Exactly. So now you're thinking. So this is exactly what we've kind of done. So it's important to kind of have a look and see what notes there are and what.
Especially that earthy notes of beetroot.
There we go. That's it. All right, and then we've got these capers.
My favorite.
Have a little snack. They're super cute. So basically what they are is a normal caper berry that you would buy in a jar. You drain off the water and you deep fry them. And it's got that lovely salty salinity. It's also got some nice crunch. And those we're just going to place on top. Don't have to do too many. It is quite salty. There we go. And there, my friends, you got your first canapé. So we're going to run through it one more time so everybody's on track. All right. You've put your little cracker down. You've taken your beetroot and you put your beetroot on top. There we go. You take your whipped feta piping bag and you can do some nice little pipes, little dollops around. Very simple. There we go. Berry coulis on top. Now, the only reason I'm doing this twice is that I can eat one. No, just going to slow down so everyone can actually keep up. And then on top, you get the capers. So you've got creaminess, you've got a little bit of saltiness, you've got a little bit of crunch, you've got a little bit of, I would say, kind of like some roundy brioche notes. And that's what we picked up in the wine.
Well done.
But it all comes down to the taste.
Exactly.
So when we are doing a little taste,
hang on.
we need a top up.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. There we go. All right. So when we do a pairing, it's always very interesting to see, number one, what the wine tastes like first.
Yep.
So important, take a nice big sip. Roll it around. I love that very, very fine mousse of this. It's beautiful. Now, take your canapé and pop that into your mouth. Give it a good crunch.
I don't think there's a neat way of doing this.
No, there probably isn't a neat way of doing it, but just go for broke. And I love those sort of textures, and I like the fact that there's that freshness of the beetroot. And to be perfectly honest with you, it also comes down to what it looks like. And when it comes to, sort of colors, I'm a bit of a sucker of like a purple pink going with a pink wine.
We naturally tend to do it. I don't know why, but it is.
It is. Now, once you've had that bite, have another sip.
That is a beautiful bite.
And you'll see sometimes it changes. Sometimes it kind of opens different flavors up, and you might sort of get a little bit more fruitiness. Or you might think, oh my goodness, that actually, I can now taste that salinity, which is probably characteristic of the fact that the wine is grown so close to the ocean.
True. I mean, that works for me, honestly. That's
Good.
Beautifully done. And I love the crunchiness still of the beetroot.
Yes.
So we tend to think of beetroot as overcooked and
Yeah, I think the
soggy,
normal kind
nasty.
of jarred beetroot does get a little bit soft. It's nice to have some crunch.
oh, that's it. I'm going to try this combo over Christmas.
There you go, exactly. And so these kind of things can be trialed and basically done in any of the way that you want to. But please do let us know what you thought about that pairing. As I said, trial and experiment as much as you do want. do take photos of these and use those hashtags PNP Wine Club and use the hashtag de Grendel. We'd love to see your little creations on social media, and you get a chance of winning 300 rands worth of Smart Shopper points. So I'm not going to let this one go to waste because this was absolutely beautiful.
Maybe just a little bit of information on the actual name that we chose.
Oh, yes.
Proposal Hill. That is an actual little copy on the farm.
Okay.
Where the current owner's grandfather, also said de Villiers-Graaf, proposed to his then wife, Ina. And that was in 1939, just before the war. And ever since then, this little hill was called Proposal Hill among the family.
Okay.
And when we sort of was digging into the history files to come up with a name for this, and it was quite appropriate. And we chose it for this. And of course, that created a bit of a monster.
Yeah.
Because now people want to actually get engaged on this little Proposal Hill. And so we do it quite often.
Yeah.
We do have a old Land Cruiser Overlander.
Yeah.
And we drive up, and Douglas, our guide, knows exactly when to step back and get out the camera. and then they bend the knee, and so apparently he's got a 100% success rate so far. So,
well, that's good news.
I was a little bit worried in the beginning when we chose Proposal Hill to think, oh my goodness, it's only going to be a wedding wine. But of course, there's business proposals as well. So
there you go. There you go. Oh, good stuff. All right, guys. So I hope that you enjoyed that one. I absolutely love that bubbly. It is remarkable. Really, really is. But we are going to move on to the second wine.
Good.
I think that's something that is, obviously, you were saying that this was the first cultivars that was planted on the farm, and obviously being very, very close to the Atlantic Ocean, probably speaking a lot to the characteristics of the more cool climate Sauvignon Blanc. I think that you're very lucky to have the farm so close to the ocean. It probably allows those grapes, to ripen at a slower rate, sort of maybe giving that more sort of the chance for the grapes to kind of develop a flavor.
Exactly what's happening there. And of course, we are part of the Durbanville Wine Valley, and Durbanville sort of hang their hat on Sauvignon Blanc as the varietal.
Yes.
So that's the key varietal for the region as well. And we do have, and that's again the beauty of our landscape, quite diverse, different angles and slopes and inner valleys.
Yes.
We're on the western slope of the Tygerberg, so facing Table Mountain.
Yes.
We get that a little bit warmer temperatures there.
Yeah.
But we have that, as you mentioned, 7 kilometers from the Atlantic Ocean, so we have that cool breezes always blowing over. And yes, no, it is a nightmare for picnics. So it will literally blow the lettuce out of your sandwich, but it is for a good reason. So for winemaking purposes, it's fantastic because it does allow, as you mentioned, for grapes to phenologically ripen with that slower or longer hanging time.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
And which also means that we can most of the time make these wines with 100% natural acidity, so not having to adjust anything.
Oh, really? So you don't really adjust post at all?
No, I think there will be vintages where you might need to do it, but in general, no, which wine is so much more imbalanced from the word go.
Yeah, and obviously, so this wine has become pretty well known as one of the sort of stalwarts of de Grendel.
Yeah.
Everybody loves it, everyone knows it. Does the winemaker spend quite a lot of time trying to kind of match each vintage to get it very similar? Or does he kind of work with it to say, okay, well, maybe in 2020 it was a lot hotter and so be it if it's different? Because I think that it's stayed pretty constant for a long time.
There's always going to be vintage changes.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of wine. It's Mother Nature dictates. And but the winemaker sort of can, with experience, and that's luckily what we have on the farm with Charles and Morgan, his winemaker assistant, is the fact that they know if things don't turn out that they wanted, they can bring it in earlier or adjust. So yes, consistency is I think one of the key words for me when it comes to the Grendel's wines.
Yeah, exactly.
And that comes with experience. You've got winemakers that really know. And we're not trying to, I'm not saying we're doing a recipe. We're not trying to churn out the exact same wine, but it'll be always consistently balanced, good, fruit-driven, fault-free.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what I've noticed over the last couple of years of drinking the Grendel wine is that, especially the Sauvignon Blanc, it's definitely got characteristics of a cool climate wine, except I believe from when I drink it, there's a lot of tropical fruit, and there's a lot of, on the nose, you're picking up a lot of certainly apple and pineapple and maybe kiwi. And it does give you that tropical kind of...
Charles always refers to it, it's like sticking your nose into a fruit bowl. So there's all those beautiful flavors, but there's also some minerality coming through.
Yeah, exactly, and that's also a very good point.
Added to that freshness.
That minerality definitely comes from the fact that you are so close to the ocean, and probably, I'm not an expert, but probably comes from something to do with the soil as well.
Soil is always key.
Exactly.
So terroir, I mean, there's this common saying that wine is made in the vineyard, so that's most of the time it's true.
Yeah, but it is beautiful. It really is, and I think that as we said, coming into a summertime, this is really where
that's
it's
exactly for me. Sauvignon Blanc, again, having that natural, fresh acidity to it.
Yeah,
it can be. And it changes beautifully, especially these cooler climate Sauvignons.
Yeah.
I do find them actually better after a year in bottle. So they, for me, need time, and they really develop beautifully.
Yeah.
And I think that's another problem in the South African consumer's mind is they think Sauvignon Blanc needs to be enjoyed. I think they're already starting just after Christmas looking for the next vintage.
Yeah.
It's not necessary. Sauvignon is very versatile in that sense. Be patient.
Yeah.
Because of that natural fresh acidity, it actually does make it difficult to pair.
Okay.
When it comes to food.
Yeah.
Now you need to either find equally acidic.
Yes.
Otherwise it clashes, but over time it just softens up, it really opens up itself to better pairings.
It's very true, and I think that people, often think that they can't necessarily, I wouldn't say age, but hold on to white wines, and I certainly do, and I do hold on to white wines, and it's probably because I get way too excited and buy way too much wine, and then I can never really get through it. But sometimes I pull out a 2018 Sauvignon Blanc, and I try it, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It really is, and exactly what you were saying, that maybe these Sauvignon Blancs with slightly higher acidity can actually age slightly better, because if you've got a wine, let's say, that is being grown in a much hotter region, not coastal, Sauvignon Blanc, it's a lot, I would say it's a lot sort of, it's a richer, it's kind of got quite a lot of stone fruit, it's almost there where you kind of already...
Yeah, it's sort of it starts off with all those beautiful notes that you sort of need to enjoy that at a little bit earlier age.
Exactly. So if you do leave an acidic Sauvignon Blanc, a coastal region Sauvignon Blanc, for a little bit, it starts to develop this kind of maybe more stone fruity flavors over a little bit of time. I don't know, that's just my experience, but it changes basically.
There's a sort of a flip side to it as well, where people, I find people want to move away from too acidic. I'm not sure if it's an age thing, where gout starts to play a role and whatever, but there is the tendency to shy away of Sauvignon these days, but it's still the most sold varietal.
It's my favorite varietal. So, it really is.
And it's for us key, so that's very important to us. And we do make a different style one as well, but so we can play around. And that's, again, versatility.
Exactly. All right, are you guys ready to taste a little bit of food and create your next canapé, which is going to be paired with the Sauvignon Blanc? I'm going to ask for a little bit of a top up over there.
Sure.
All right. So we've got our next canapé, and something that we have experimented quite a lot with. We love a little bit of goat cheese in our kitchen.
Especially with Sauvignon.
Especially with Sauvignon, exactly. True. You know why? So also another reason why I believe that there's a big correlation between goat cheese and Sauvignon is in a region in France, the Loire Valley, around Sancerre. There's a big river that kind of goes down, which is the Loire Valley. And there's a huge amount of goat farms that are positioned all the way around there, and they make a huge amount of chef cheese, chev, crottin, a lot of different cheeses like that. And they're also the same wine producers that produce what is basically a Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
They've got that Pois Fumé around there. They've got Sancerre. They've got a lot of that kind of style wines. And for some reason, I just believe that there's that acidic kind of notes of that Sauvignon Blanc and that creaminess and kind of richness of a goat cheese.
But that's for me the beauty of traveling Europe is the fact, and the food culture is the fact that the sort of food developed around their wines. I'm not sure which way, which was first, but
Chicken or the egg?
In that case, where you know that if you find it in that region, it will work beautifully with the wines.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have a complete different setup here, but I think, is there a bit of acidity in goat cheese as well?
There certainly is a bit of goat cheese, a bit of acidity, especially when you start aging it a little bit. So, I mean, I think that goat cheese is also one of those incredibly versatile cheeses. You literally probably, I'm not joking, you probably have about 3,000 different types of goat cheese.
And this is also where you need to get your consumer to experiment.
Yeah, completely. Completely.
A lot of people have that, no, I don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't all smell like goat.
No, and the goat cheese that we get in this country is a very, very, very mild goat cheese. So you will find at Pick and Pay a very, very mild goat cheese, which is called basically a Chevin. And it is definitely a very light, it does not taste like a goat's armpit. I guarantee you. Okay, are you guys ready to make the next canapé? So we've got this lovely little goat cheese ball, which you can just pop onto your board like that. Take it out of the little tub, like that. All right. And then you'll also see inside another little tub, you've got a mixture of some nuts and some wild flowers that we have basically dehydrated.
Okay.
Okay. You don't need a huge amount of this. So you can put it into a little plate. Just sprinkle it into a little plate, just like that. And what I want you to do with that is I want you to roll that goat cheese ball in there. Okay, so you pick up your goat cheese ball. It's nice and soft, this hot weather we're having here. And you just roll it around in that wildflower and little nuts. So we've got a mixture of nuts. We've used some pistachios, we've used some cashews, we've used some almonds, and we've also dehydrated some little beautiful edible wildflowers. And then you got your goat cheese ball, which is nicely encrusted in the in that. So pop that down there. I'm going to do 2 in that. So you really don't need a huge amount. Just basically you just need to cover it, and you've rolled it around in there. And you can do this with Christmas time. One of the nice things that we've done before is use cranberries. So you can chop up some cranberries and you can roll it around there as well. It gives it a nice sweetness. Okay, so you guys good. We've got our 2 little goat cheese balls over there. Then we've got our Melba toast, something that we've used constantly over many, many years for every single canapé that we do, is these perfectly sized, fantastic little Melba toast that you'll find in Pick and Pay. They do the long ones, they do some little round ones. Brilliant. Very, very, very good. Super useful. Okay, and then we've got an apple. Simple Granny Smith apple. So lots of different types of apples, but Granny Smith apple for this is the best because it's got a nice tartness, it's got a nice freshness. And what I want you to do is put this onto your board, and we're going to basically slice a nice little thin cheek off that, and then a few little rounds. You can go as thick as you want, but I'm probably going about a 2 millimeters thick. All right. Okay. So if you want to zoom in slightly over there, I'm going to literally cut a nice little square out of that. There we are. Take those 2 sides off, turn it around, and I'm going to make a square. I'll do 2 while we're at it. There we go. Okay, so I've made 2 squares, just like that. There we are. Okay, and that's going to be the base, which I'm going to place on top of my Melba toast. And all that does is going to add a little bit of freshness. It's going to add a little bit of crunch. And also it's going to speak very, very nicely to the notes of that Sauvignon Blanc. It's a nice green apple, huh?
Yes, definitely one of the notes. It's prominent in our wine.
All righty. Now, what we've got over here is we've got a little confit lime jam. So we've basically made a jam, which has got some lime, it's got a little bit of sugar, it's been cooked down, it's got some of the rind, so it's nice and fresh, but it's also got some sweetness. And often what people do is they obviously add basically like a jam or a confiture to cheese. And so it works quite well with both, first of all, the apple, but also with the goat cheese. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a nice little dollop on top of our apple. There we go. And the same thing there. Nice little dollop. And that not only...
Is that the glue as well?
That's exactly. I was just about to say that. Not only works well for a taste, but it also works well for a glue. Okay, and then we just pop that little ball right on top. And there you have a magical little canapé.
Fantastic.
Super, super easy.
And these are all actually really easy to assemble.
I know. And so this is the thing. When you got these boxes and you probably looked at these little things, and you're like, what am I going to do with these tiny little pieces of apple and these tiny little pieces of this? You'll be very surprised how much you can actually do and how creative you can be with something that is so super simple. And these are the things that you will be able to do.
Brilliant.
Please do this for some canapes as people arrive at Christmas Eve. This would work quite nicely with a little brut bubbly as well.
Yep, I do agree.
All right, so same thing as we did before. Take a nice swig. First, I always give it a smell. Then a nice swig.
And that's just to get a good reference on the wine.
Exactly. That's what I think. It's fun. It's exciting. It's nice to see kind of things how it changed. But
and what is the main aim? Is the sum total of should be better than the individual components. So
it just should work together. So every time that you have a bite, you should want to sip, and every single time you have a sip, you should want to bite.
And again, what I always say about wine is the fact that we all taste different. We all have different preferences. In the end, your palate will say yes or no.
Completely.
No matter what story I tell you, how I embroid, body tells you yes or no. That's it. Yeah. But adding to that is, do experiment. Be open-minded. I so often get people say, "Ooh, I don't drink Sauvignon," and then you almost want to ask, "Okay, so how many different Sauvignons did you try?"
Yes.
To make that sort of come to that conclusion. So there's thousands of examples out there. Every terroir, every winemaker brings something different to it. Yeah. So keep on trying, and that's the same with food as well. Food in wine, especially.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've found, I've drank a lot of wine, and I've eaten a lot of food. Yeah. And there's certainly things that I know work well together, but there's also things that sometimes for me don't work well together. And interesting enough, one of them, when we get into springtime, and a couple of months ago, there was a flourish of artichokes, fresh artichokes, and I absolutely love fresh artichokes. All I want to do is I steam them, I make a little hollandaise sauce, and I pull off the leaves, and I dip them in, and I eat them, and I'm like, if I'm sitting out here absolutely loving this artichoke, I need to drink some wine with this. And but it is unbelievable. That food does not go with any wine. I don't know what it is. It might be like the tannins or something, but it's like a tannin clash. I don't know what it is.
No, there's very few, and I can't exactly recall now which, but there's very few wines that work with artichoke. Yeah. Artichoke, olives, it's all of those similar elements that you had. But then you just eat it, and then
exactly. That is
have a sip of water, and then have a glass of wine. Then
completely.
Whatever.
All right.
Am I allowed?
To you, my friend.
May I? Thank you so much.
There we go.
I do have my reference, so I know.
Good. So from what we thought about, obviously, is the fact that the Sauvignon Blanc does have a very balanced acidity, but there certainly is some acidity there. We wanted to counteract that acidity and give it something which was quite creamy, which we decided which was going to be the goat's cheese. We definitely found some notes of some fresh apple in there, so we thought let's give it some fresh apple. Nice to have some crunch, and then always it's nice to have a balance of the actual canapé between textures, sweetness, acidity, and sourness. And it's nice that we thought maybe it would be nice to have that lime element of the sweetness.
The lime element was quite a surprise.
Yeah.
So beautiful. Oh my goodness. Oh, come on.
I will have that while you having a yarn. But I hope that you guys enjoyed that too. As I said, please do take your photos. I want to see this little goat cheese ball on social media. Use those hashtags, PNP Wine Club. And as I said, you stand a chance to win 300 Rand worth of Smart Shopper points. But yeah, I can see, can you give me a thumbs up over there? Did you enjoy that one? There we go. You can see those guys. Nice. Good. And also I can see that there's also some 4 boxes there as well. We've definitely increased our standings of 4 boxes. For people who don't know what that is, obviously you get your 3 bottles of wine, but you also can increase your food up to 4, to serve 4 people, which would then also encourage you to get around on a Thursday evening, have some friends around, enjoy some incredible wines, have a little bit of a laugh around the kitchen, make your own canapes, and enjoy the evening.
I can't think of a better way to spend a Thursday evening.
Exactly. All right, good stuff. Fantastic. I really did enjoy that. So now, obviously, as we progress through tastings and we progress through different wines, something which is also, as you said before, a cultivar that you said that it was the original cultivar on the farm.
Yeah, so the first wines made was from Merlot, Sauvignon, and Shiraz.
Okay.
And but the 2 that really stood out was Sauvignon and Merlot, and that literally took off. And again, Merlot is also one of the biggest selling varietals in South Africa. Merlot's, well, can't talk about a wine and not have it close to me.
No, it's very true.
So again, Merlot, I think the appeal of Merlot is the fact that it is, well, it is one of the Bordeaux varietals, one of the 5 Bordeaux, and it's probably the one that's, let's call it the softener.
Yeah, it's true.
And for that reason, it is the drinkability, approachability of Merlot is probably the bigger appeal. And you probably noticed that I did chill the Merlot a little bit.
Yeah, so that is interesting, and I think that obviously we're entering in some very hot months.
And the fact that room temperatures always comes to mind, and we are not in Europe.
No.
So this is not, 30 odd sometimes in a room is not room temperature.
No.
So please do chill your reds. Rather over chill. By the time you've put it on the table, you've got your glasses ready, you've prepared your canapé.
Yeah.
It would have warmed up to the perfect temperature. And it's the fact that normally your reds have a higher alcohol content.
Yes.
And if it's too warm, all you taste is that alcohol. It's just hot, burning alcohol sensation. That's not what you want.
No, it's like a Van Shore. You only drink warm wine when you are in the Alps, eh?
Exactly.
On the slopes.
So you want all those beautiful dark berry notes to come through.
Yeah, it's very true. And I think that, Merlot is, it's a varietal that is, as you said, it's a softer varietal. As opposed to something which is, maybe a cab.
This is more a medium to full-bodied style that we make.
Yeah.
And Charles and his team obviously stay true to the varietal. So you're not going to try and make a Cabernet out of a Merlot.
No.
By hitting it with a lot of oak and extraction. So it's meant to be an elegant, medium-bodied wine. So it also goes into older barrels.
Okay.
So small percentage of new, and then the biggest balance is older barrels, just to open it up and soften it up as well.
Okay, so I think that's interesting. So obviously when you have an older barrel versus a new barrel, from what my understanding is that the new barrels impart quite a lot of oakiness.
It's like a tea bag. The first draw is strong, and you dump it into the second cup, it gets weaker and weaker. So, and of course the main reason for putting it into oak is not to extract vanilla and oak flavors to it.
No,
it is
to soften it.
Open up that wine.
Open it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you.
Yeah, it is magnificent.
So of course, from vineyard practice all the way through to the cellar, a lot of attention is placed on our Merlot because it is a key varietal for us.
Okay. And the Shiraz as well, is that also carried through? It's an interesting...
Yes, it's just a natural progression where Shiraz sales, well, Merlot sales just completely overtook Shiraz.
Okay, interesting.
So it's,
and I wonder why that is.
It's nothing that we did wrong or different.
No.
It's just the natural, that's how the market
and I
sort
think
of reacts to...
From my understanding, my opinion is that I think that because Merlot is such a... It's a soft varietal. I hate the word easy drinking, and I don't want to say it.
I know.
You know what I mean? But it's a soft kind of like inviting
and
culture.
more approachable.
Yeah, exactly.
So the tannin, you can immediately feel the tannin structure, and this is a lot softer. And,
it is.
And so, of course, that sort of also dictates what you enjoy it with.
Yeah, exactly.
And one of my one question that I always hate especially when you present at a public tasting, is when people ask you, so which one is your favorite? And I can truly say, and it's not just saying it for the sake of it, is that I immediately put food and wine together.
Yes.
I don't favor any varietal because I need all of them, because I'm never sure what I need to pair it with.
There you go. Exactly. I mean, this also, I think that this Merlot is probably a very, very versatile wine to pair. But what we've decided today on this pairing is quite exciting. We've done quite a lot of development around this, and we do a lot of these canapés for various different clients, and it's definitely come out quite tops. But what I want you to do is get your kitchen ready for the last canapé. And as I said to you before,
cooking.
We are going to be doing a little bit of toasting. So I want you to get your pans ready. You can put it onto the hob, put it onto the gas. We're going to get it to, I would say, a medium-high heat. What we're going to do is we're going to be toasting inside a pan. So don't get it ridiculously hot so it burns, but also don't get it too low so it doesn't cook at all. So I've got a little induction here. I'm going to get it to like a medium heat. Okay, so that's going there now.
And that goes quickly.
That goes quite quickly, exactly. So we've got different elements. We've got a little brioche bun. And the nice thing about a brioche bun is that literally you can keep it for a long time because it's actually enriched with butter. So it does not matter. If you're going to be toasting brioche, you literally can keep that in the fridge for a long, long time. Give it a slice.
It's a little bit more dense as well.
It's a little bit more dense. It's
got weight to it as well.
And so it's got a little bit of weight to it.
Okay.
You can put it into the freezer. You can freeze it for months. Take it out, defrost it, give it a slice, and toast it up. It's 100% fine. All right. So we've got different elements here. So the elements that we've got is our little brioche bun, which we're going to cut into a little toasty soldier. We've got some truffle mayo. We've got like a little butter emulsion which we've made, which has got some little bit of olive oil, a little bit of butter, a very small amount of garlic as well. And then we've also got some little shimeji mushrooms. And the shimeji mushrooms are... yeah, you'll find this in Pick n Pay, these in the little exotic mushrooms. They're super cute. They're called shimeji. You also get enoki. You also get... obviously, everybody knows the
little fairy-looking ones.
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry, you can eat these. You won't be seeing stars. All right. And then you've also got some Parmesan cheese. So we've got mushrooms. We've got some brioche. We've got a little bit of truffle, and then the last little thing here is something called a little mushroom ketchup. So a mushroom ketchup is something that we've done in the kitchen where we take some mushrooms and we cook it down. We add a few different herbs and spices. The spice that we've used here is some star anise. That's certainly something that I picked up a little bit in the wine. And it's basically like a little sauce that we've made with some dark mushrooms. Okay.
Yeah, that's spot on because there is some of those Christmassy flavors.
Yeah, exactly.
Spices in this wine.
Exactly. Okay. So take our little emulsion. Just give it a little swirl around before you toss it into your pan. Make sure it's not too hot. Actually, wait. Let's cut our bun first. Before we do that, it'll burn for that. Okay, so we've got our bun. All right. Here we go. I'm going to put it onto the board. Okay. So we're going to make a little toast out of this. So what I want you to do is I need you to cut this into like a little soldier, like a little toast soldier. So you're going to cut a bit off the side, And you'll see that this is why it actually works better if it is a little bit stale. So we want to actually keep your bread to make sure that it's not 100% fresh. And we're just going to cut off the ends, all right, like that. And we're going to make a little rectangle. As you keep turning it around, cut off the edges, cut off the top, and we're just going to make a nice little rectangle like that. Okay, you can see. And if you want to use more of it, you can, and make a few more. You can use the ends, cut that off, make it into a nice little, there we go, make it into a nice little soldier. There we are. And the same thing with that. Just cut off the ends into a soldier so you can toast it into a pan. Doesn't need to be 100% accurate every single time. There we go. All right, so we've got a nice little rectangular soldier here of brioche. There we are. Like that. Okay, very simple. Now we're going to take our butter emulsion, which has got olive oil, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of butter. We're just going to pour a little bit into the pan. You'll see it sizzle away nicely. Then I want you to take your brioche, put it on one side, and just give it a mix into it. There we go. And you'll smell a little bit of that garlic coming off. Don't go too hectic with it and don't burn it too much. All you want to do is toast it. You'll start getting that beautiful little aroma through. And then just keep turning it. So all you can do, here we go, and just move it around. The sauce, if that is the sauce that you're talking about, you can buy all the ingredients at Pick n Pay to make it. All you need to do, as I said, with the butter emulsion, is you mix a little bit of olive oil, add a little bit of butter, you blitz it up with a small amount of garlic. So you'll see there's a small little grain in it, but that's basically the garlic. And you can keep that as a little butter emulsion, which you can cook with, you can baste, you can use that however you like. Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm just toasting each side in my pan. You can use some tongs if you like, or you can use your fingers, don't burn yourself. There we are, and just keep turning it around. And the nice thing also about brioche is that it does have a little bit of natural butter in it, so it will toast quite nicely without too much stuff in the pan. Okay, so just turn it around, don't burn it, you just want to get a nice golden color. Okay, so that's mine over there. Turn my pan off. Okay, so now we're talking about,
I can smell it.
there we go. Okay, so now we're going to do a few different elements here. We've got our shimeji mushrooms, we've got a little bit of truffle mayo, and we've got our mushroom sauce. The mushroom sauce also, all the ingredients available at Pick n Pay. Put it onto your hand and that it'll taste. It's got a nice earthiness. It's basically like using all of the offcuts of mushrooms that you ever had, mixing it down, a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of soy in there.
Do I need to email you for this one?
There we go. If you do need the recipe, we can post it onto it as well.
Fantastic.
Okay, so now let's take our mushroom sauce, which is our basic mushroom ketchup, and let's do some nice little dollops around it. Let's do 3 or 4. There we go. Around. And what we'll do for the second one is we'll do our little bit of truffle mayo, and that also gives it a nice richness, also gives it a nice contrasting color. Folding over, there we go. And then let's put our shimeji mushrooms on. These cute little guys, just place them on at different angles onto the top. So you'll see all of these canapes are literally like 3, 4, maybe 5 elements maximum. These guys have been pickled. They've got some nice little bit of acidity too, and they're really good. So you only need about 3 or 4 of those fellas on top.
Beautiful.
And then to finally end it all off, What we always do as chefs is we give everything a little shaving of Parmesan. So you've got a little block of Parmesan, take your grater and just give it a nice little shaving on top. Little light grating right on top.
Look at that.
Look at that. Okay. So there we go. That's my little mushroom, shimeji mushroom, a little bit of truffle mayo, some mushroom ketchup, and a shaving of Parmesan right on top. I'm handing this over to you.
Can't we cut it in
No,
half?
you go.
Huh?
We've got
Sure.
100%.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
Okay.
So there are the elements of what we really kind of experienced in this wine.
Cheers.
Some earthy tones, some creaminess, a little bit of mushroom. Take a nice sip.
I would actually have a loaf of this.
You can have a loaf of that. It is delicious. It really is.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. So these things, if you do need any recipes, we will send them through to you. But obviously, every single one of these ingredients are available at Pick and Pay. And it's just really about actually creating everything at home. You've got the opportunity to entertain during this festive season, go wild, buy nice wine, experiment with food, really try things that you really want to experiment with. And yeah, I mean, what a festive season we've got going on.
So you lost me here now.
Oh, goodness.
I'm a foodie, unfortunately, by heart. So experiencing all these flavors is fantastic.
Oh, good.
Oh my goodness. And of course,
And have a
washing
glass.
it down,
Wash it down, exactly.
with a good glass of Merlot.
Fantastic. But I want to obviously mention that we have spoken about these hashtags. We have spoken about everybody posting online, and we want to thank you for doing so. And of course, at the end of the evening, we do have 3 very lucky winners of 300 Rands worth of Smart Shopper points. And I will let you do the honors to read out our 3 winners. Number 1.
Luckily, they made it big enough for me. Johan Verwey.
Congratulations,
There
Johan.
we go.
300 Rands worth of Smart Shopper points coming your way.
And Liam Fleming.
Congratulations, Liam.
And Lindy Smith.
There we go. 300 Rands worth of Smart Shopper points on their way
Cheers
to you too. But not only, as old, what's her name, Oprah says, everybody's a winner. Everybody's a winner. Not only you guys
Look
are a
under your
winner.
chair.
You really are. So inside your boxes, not only did you receive 3 bottles of incredible wine, bubbly, you got some really nice ingredients to create some beautiful little canapes, but we've also treated you to some vouchers. Inside you'll see a voucher which you can enjoy 100 Rands worth, 100 Rands off your next purchase when you purchase online. Just use that voucher code DG100, and I do believe also that there's 25% off these 3 wines as well in store. So do go down. This is what you need to be doing. Everybody knows that literally can't wait. In a couple of weeks, almost everyone's there around the summer holidays. We're going to take some time off. We're going to enjoy some time with our friends and our family. And what better way to do it with some incredible wine from Grendel and some lovely food from Pick and Pay.
Of course. The 2 goes hand in hand.
It does go hand in hand. It's been
marriage made in heaven.
Exactly. Well, thank you. I must say we've had an extremely educational and enlightening experience tasting this wine and talking to you, Righard. It's been an enjoyable evening.
Jonathan, thank you. Again, thank you to Pick and Pay as well for this opportunity. And I know my dear colleague Charles has done it before, and I was jealous, so now I have the opportunity. Luckily, he was busy with a Cape Winemakers Guild event where he's the main act for the evening. So he couldn't be here, but I'm glad I could fill in. So
certainly did an amazing job.
It was fantastic, and again, thank you very much. And happy shopping. And of course, if you can I just drag this into the picture? This is how the proposal hill is packaged, so it can actually make for a fantastic gift as well. So
no, it's a beautiful box,
and it's not only for getting married. So please get it.
All right.
And again, yeah. So just from my side, it is that end of the year. Be responsible, especially with the year-end functions. Get home safe. Enjoy the time off with family. That's so important, and even better if you can enjoy it with good food and wine. So
lovely. Well, namely Grendel. That was a very, very good experience, and thank you everybody Thank you for an incredible year. Thank you to the Pick and Pay Wine Club for putting on these amazing events. Please do look out for more for next year. Starting in February, we've also got some incredible wine festivals that are going to be placed around the Pick and Pay in all regions around South Africa. So look out for those too. And I also want to thank you. Thank you to Pick and Pay, the Wine Club, Pick and Pay Online, and all of the wine farms that have supported us throughout this year. It's been an incredible experience. Have a lovely festive season, and we will see you again next year. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Bye-bye.